Fulham nil, Arsenal 3. Decent start to the new season. Um, Goals from Lacazette as well as Magalhaes and Aubameyang. We sort of stuck to our traditional formation which we've been using lately with five at the back. I still feel the long-term plan for Mikel Arteta is to go with the four at the back. However, I don't feel as if we've got that balance, or we don't have the right personnel to play with three in central midfield. So for the time being, we're sticking to what we know. I still would have liked to have seen William playing at number 10 role, just to sort of see if he could do that job, and maybe that might have helped us going forward within a transfer market. So if, for example, if William excelled with that number 10 position, then for me it pretty seems clearly that imminently we need a Thomas Partey type of player, and maybe look at a player like a Aouar or an attacking midfield mind perhaps later on, and we might sort of see it's not a necessity for the time being. I did think Willian had an amazing debut, as well as Gabriel Magalhaes. I will go into that more in detail on my player rating. In terms of the game itself, it was a bit cagey initially. There was that miscommunication between sort of Leno and Gabriel. I feel that's more of a nerve from his side of things, and maybe that communication, it must have been difficult for him. His first game without properly understanding the English language. I think he would have had a better debut with a David Luiz, or maybe he would have made him slightly more at ease. I still think Gabriel had an amazing debut, and I feel he's just showing small signs of what's to come for the rest of the season. I still feel as if there's not enough at the centre for me. We just seem to have this massive gap. You might as well call us Krispy Kreme FC. There's nothing going through centrally. All our attacks, all our plays are going through the wing, including if you look at Aubameyang's goal, it was a diagonal ball from Willian across to Aubameyang, similar to the Community Shield goal and set up that Saka played the ball to Aubameyang. I also love the overlap runs that Tierney and Maitland-Niles provide Aubameyang to free him up that space to curl into the top corner. I still feel we need to look at that central area. We can't be reliant on our wing play. We will face teams who are very dogged, very defensive, and will sort of sit back, and we do need a player maybe to sort of open things up. Maybe Mesut Ozil could have been that player today, but I still feel as though Mikel Arteta doesn't fully trust him, and I reckon we're going to see more Ozil more within the cup games itself. As far as Matteo Guendouzi goes, it was interesting not to see him within a team lineup. I know there's been recent news within the media itself where apparently Matteo Guendouzi and Arteta have pretty much put everything behind him, and they're looking to sort of move forward. However, I sort of assume that might be a bluff for the screen, and it might be a way to try get bidders in for Guendouzi. We don't want to expose ourselves and ensure other teams know that he's a liability, and we no longer have any interest in him or having him here at the club. So therefore, in order to make that so, we need to sort of make it appear that things are all rosy between Guendouzi and the football club itself. Without speaking any longer, let's just get into the team ratings. Sorry, the player ratings for today's game. Starting off with bed, Leno, I feel going into this game there was a lot of pressure from him because the imminent move of Emi Martinez. I reckon if he made any slip-ups, then we might have seen a lot of backlash from the media, the fan base itself, speaking out, why are we selling Emi Martinez? I felt as if he didn't have to do much today, but in terms of what he's done, and he looks more comfortable playing out the ball, but if I'm honest with you, I think that's more a Brownlee structure that Arteta has provided. We have to bear in mind Leno got injured within the first few games of Arteta taking over, so prior to Leno's injury, we were still all over the place. There was no structure, so I believe Emi Martinez was quite fortunate that he had that setup build around him when he sort of played in, and I believe that has sort of made him look better than he actually is. And I reckon we'll see more from Leno with the correct setup. So my player rating for Bernd Leno, I give him a solid 7. He didn't do anything wrong, but didn't have to do much. Going on to right back, we had Hector Bellerin. I don't feel as if he provided much offensively, but in terms of what he had to do, he did just fine. He did provide that nice through ball for Aubameyang in where he went around the goalkeeper and he took that shot, which was saved by Hector from Fulham over the line. My player rating for Hector Bellerin would be a standard 6. In terms of the left wing back, where Ainsley Maitland-Niles, for me, he came in centrally a bit too much. I'm not sure if that was a tactic that's been deployed by Mikel Arteta. It seemed throughout the game itself that Tierney was the left back and Ainsley sort of tucked in and played like a secondary central midfield for the team, but more towards the left hand side. I felt that caused a bit of confusion, and what Ainsley does when he sort of makes those runs, he takes defenders out. He made that beautiful run to take a defender away so that Aubameyang could have slotted the ball through the back of the net. So in terms of Ainsley, I'm going to give him a standard 7. Rob Holding, he produced a bit of a magic today. I'm not sure if he's getting influenced by that Brazilian samba today with that bit of magic he's produced. For Rob Holding, there wasn't much to do. I'd give him a standard 7 as well. Now, Kieran Tierney, you're always guaranteed a solid 7-8 with Kieran Tierney. I'm going to give Tierney an 8. I felt as if we had 11 Tierneys on the pitch, we could sort of go places with this club, potentially Champions League spots, even challenging for the title itself. He linked up with Aubameyang well on the left hand side throughout the game, and he slotted in within the centre back role. He was also on the left flank making crosses. He was pretty much everywhere within the central defence and the whole of left hand side area. As I said, Tierney 8 for me. My man of the match will be Gabriel Magalhaes. I feel as if it's an impressive debut to say that he's gone in there with not much prep time. I believe they said he's only had a week's full training. He's looked aggressive, very pacey, he's read the ball well. There was a few times when the Fulham have made a through ball and Gabriel's read the situation perfectly. Not to mention, he managed to bag in a goal on his debut, and I think BT Sports called it correct when they awarded him man of the match. So for me, Gabriel, based on the fact that it is his debut season with very much training as well as the English language, I'm going to give Gabriel a solid 9. Going into the midfield area, we've got our Egyptian Thomas Partey in Mohamed Elneny. Now, I think Mohamed Elneny is an interesting one. The fact that he started tells me that he might be in Arteta's long-term plan, unless that's just him showcasing himself for maybe potential suitors for Elneny. He played a decent game, he controlled the ball well, he kept things going. Is not flashy, doesn't do anything magnificent, just a bang average 7 for Elneny today, but played well for me. Going to Granit Xhaka, again, I felt he didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything amazing. Played the ball well. He sort of linked well centrally and made a few decent balls out to the wing. I'd give Xhaka a 7 for today's game. Moving on to the attack, we got Willian, who's made his debut today. 3 assists, although I don't think the Lacazette's goal was an assist, because he tried to make an honest attempt at that shot, which then got rebounded off the goalkeeper, where Lacazette had an easy slot in. So other than that, I thought he played, I can't recall where he made a misplaced ball or where he didn't link well. I felt as if he linked really well with Aubameyang and Lacazette, And that's why I would like to sort of see Willian playing that central role, and maybe perhaps we could have Pepe on that right. But in terms of Willian's debut, I'm going to give him a solid 8. Up front, Lacazette, he got us going with I wouldn't say it's the greatest goal. It was quite fortunate from our side, a few deflections, but nevertheless, I felt as if Lacazette played well. He worked hard, linked up play. He's looking a bit more sharp, and I can sort of see more hunger with him. I'm not sure whether that's trying to impress Arteta, or it's a combination of perhaps Eddie is right next to him in terms of the pecking order. But I feel as if that competition around him, and maybe trying to cement that starter position, Lacazette has played decently today. So I'm giving Lacazette a 7. Aubameyang, I mean, where would we be without Aubameyang? We could go every game, and I'm guaranteed to tell you a goal scorer is Aubameyang. Aubameyang gets an 8 for me. I'm pretty sure I signed that contract, all but an announcement, hopefully come Monday, and I feel as if that's the perfect way. Get a goal, get the third goal as well within our starting game, and that pretty much ended the game for Fulham, and there was no resurgence from that point onwards. They sort of sat back, and we pretty much took the game after that goal. Aubameyang's been a saviour for us quite often this season, and I reckon it will be another big season for him this season. I'm going to give Aubameyang an 8 just because he's just our hero. I know I'm just a big admirer of Aubameyang and what he brings to the team. In terms of the substitutions, I thought Dani Ceballos came on and he provided a decent spark. He pretty much left off from the FA Cup final. If anything, it looks more magical in terms of some of the intricate plays, the nutmegs, the backheel passes. Really love to see that. But then again, it is only Fulham. I want to see how Danny would perform against the big oppositions. That's where last season for me he went missing. But as far as this game goes, Danny gets a solid 7. Nicolas Pepe, don't feel as if he had enough time to do much. You could sort of see he was making them runs on the right hand side. I would like to sort of see Pepe on the right going forward with a Willian at number 10 if we don't bring in a creative midfielder. And I feel as if Pepe will have a big season this season, and I feel that extra competition provided by Willian will push him further. As far as Pepe goes, standard 6. If you could please let me know what your player ratings were for today's game, and if you could leave in a comment section, please like, subscribe. Thank you. See you next time. Come on, Arsenal.